So now our next requirement is to be able to have 5 stages of selling, which are overridable on the child classes, but not accessible by any other class other than the children. And each child is required to have those 5 stages. So now let's go ahead and do that. So the way we make children have those steps as a requirement is by putting them on the base class. And you already know that. The next thing is to make them abstract so that they can be overridable. Now, we could have also made them virtual, but that was not part of the requirement, as in the requirement, there was nowhere where it said that we have to have pre-written sales pitches. It just said that they have to be overridable by the children, and that's all. So we're going to keep it simple and make them abstract. Last thing is we need to make them hidden from the world and only accessible by the children. This is when we use the protected access specifier. So if we use the protected access specifier, then any of the 5 methods will not be able to be accessed from outside of the class, but they can only be accessible by the child classes. So let's go ahead and make 5 protected abstract methods on the salesman base class. So I will say protected abstract void, because it's not returning anything, and I will say engage. So that's the first step. Copy that. And then the next one is establish trust. Establish trust. Then address concerns. All right. That's great. Address concerns. And then demonstrate value. So I will say demo value. And then close. All right. So these are the ones. Now that we have them, let's go to retail salesperson and override these sales methods. So I'll go to retail salesperson, and over here, I'll say hover over it, implement abstract class, and we have them right here. Push this down a little bit. There we go. For engage, I will simply say hello. So I will just basically copy this guy and then start to say hello for engage. All right. For establish trust, I will say just want to help you quickly. I just wanted to quickly help you. So I just wanted to quickly help you. For addressing concerns, I will say everything is 80% discounted. So I will say it's kind of like a general way of addressing concerns. So even though it's not like they have showed that they have a concern, but we're just keeping it simple. We're saying everything is 80% discounted. Okay. And then for demonstrating value, we will say our customers love it. Our customers love it. And then for close, we will say buy this pen. Okay. So there we go. Now, obviously, for other child classes, we would have to inherit and define these methods as well. But in order to keep this video short, I will remove the rest of the child classes and only leave car salesman and implement only for that. So I'll get rid of insurance broker. We'll already seen that. Online marketer, get rid of that. And then for car salesman, I basically will grab these. So I'm not, yep. So then bring it back here. So I'm not starting from scratch. And then basically I will leave everything the same except the fact that I will say it's only 10% discounted, and I will say buy this car. And then just the copy paste there, just get rid of that. Cool. So now we have what we need. Now for each child class, I will put the methods in order into the cell abstract class. So as you can see, we have the cell still here. And what I will do is I will say this dot engage. Then I will say this dot establish trust. And I will say this dot so establish trust, address concern, and then demo value, and then this close. Okay. So then I'll do the same exact thing for our retail. Okay, I'll do the same thing for a retail salesperson. Here we go. Now let's go to program and let's call cell for each of these child classes. So I'll go here, and for retail person, we're already doing that. So I'll basically just copy paste that. Save some time. I'll say car salesman. Alright, so that's that. And that's that. And I'll just change the name to Mike. How about that? Okay, so as you can see, we can call cell from each class. No problem with that. Now let's try to access any of the 5 stages of selling from any of the classes. So remember, we have a method named trust. Establish trust, right? That is not seen anywhere on retail salesperson. Same with, if we go to car salesman and we try to do that, you'll see we have no access to it. Why? Because it's protected. Protected says, hey, you can access, protected basically says, if you inherit me, you can use me as a child, or I can be used within the class that I'm in. So where is salesman? So salesman obviously can, if these were not abstract classes, or these were just protected like fields, we can just make this protected as well. And this can be used within salesman, but it can also be used inside of, its child classes. So right now, first name could be accessed from within here. But if I make it private, you can't, right? So we'll talk about privates in the next video, but that's what protected is. It just says that it can be used from within the class, and it can be used from any class that inherits the class that it's in. So in this case, it's exactly what's happening, but the outside world cannot access it. And that's exactly what we wanted. So now you can see that we're unable to access them from outside the class. We have also defined each one specifically for each class, and we have made them required. So our business requirements are now complete. Let's go ahead and run. I'll go ahead here. Try to run this thing. And just give it a few seconds. Okay. As you can see, hello, I just wanted to quickly help you. Everything is 80% discounted. Our customers love it. Buy this pen, right? 5-stage process. Now, same thing for car salesman. Hello, I just wanted to quickly help you. Everything is 10% discounted. Our customers love it. Buy this car. Now, obviously, we could have changed everything else, but we just decided to change only a few things. But you see the point. As you can see, we're still calling the cell method, but we're getting different results just as expected. So that's great. Now, one more thing. Their requirements said that they just wanted the methods to be private, and they wanted to have a specific definition. So they just wanted these methods to have their own definition in each child class, and they wanted them to not be accessible from outside of the class. And we already know that. We've seen that. However, they didn't say anything about the order being exactly the way it is in each cell method. Right now, we do follow the order. So here we say engage, establish trust, address concerns, demo value, close. Same thing we do in car salesman. But if I put demo value in here, right, in the car salesman here, that would still work because in their requirements, they didn't mention anything about it. But for example, let's just kind of like throw a curveball. If they call us back and they say, hey, you know what? There have been a problem where each child class is messing around, and people who are implementing other types from our car salesman, they're actually messing around and they're putting address concerns as first and engage as last and close as second. So, it's not really it's not really working properly. Can you make sure that these steps are locked? Exactly. And also notice another thing. These are being repeated. So that's code repetition. So what we can do is we can actually go ahead here and we can make this concrete. And what we can do is we can say this that we're putting here, right? So base functionality unifies functionality that's shared, and put it right here, right? And that's it. Now, cell can no longer be overridden because it's a concrete class. So we can't mess with the order of how things are being sold, right? So now I have to take these out. What I can do though is I can override each way, and so each step can be overridden. I can define my own way how to engage and how to establish trust and how to address concerns and how to demo value and how to close. In each child class, I can do that. But I can't mess with the order in which they're being called because that is on the parent class. So imagine this is in another code repository, and that's kind of like one company's, and then there's other companies that are using this base class, right? Let's say this is another company's class. And if didn't make this the order set, then they might as well have changed the order of things and messed up the way things are being sold, right? But right now they are not. They are going to be concrete and stuck in a place in which they're supposed to be called. So that's just something I wanted to kind of show that we can, mess around with kind of inheritance and encapsulation and kind of put the two things together, right? So you want to combine these concepts to understand the power behind it, because that's really where the power lies, is combining these concepts together. So I just wanted to kind of like throw another requirement curveball, so to speak, and then see how we can kind of save ourselves from that by using concepts that we've already learned. So that's it for now. In the next video, we'll be talking about private access specifier.